Hello, we are live. I'm Felipe Hoffa, straight from California today, North California. And today I have a super special guest, Abhi, PM for Streamlit in Snowflake. And people are super excited about this. How are you doing, Abhi?
I'm great, Felipe, and super excited to be here as well.
So let me know a little more about you. Where are you right now? Our live audience, I would love to know where they are. So let's say hi. Uh, so, Avi, where are you right now?
Yeah,
What do
I'm
you do at
calling.
Snowflake? What do you have for us today?
Yeah, I'm calling from New York City,
Mhm.
and as you said, I am the PM for Streamlit and Snowflake, and I've been working on Streamlit for almost 3 years now. I joined Snowflake as part of the Streamlit acquisition, and towards the initial part of my time at Streamlit, I was working on the open source library and then community cloud. And today I work on building Streamlit in Snowflake.
I love how your skills are moving around. First, from a purely open source project, and now you are bringing all of these goods to the Snowflake users.
Yeah, and it's been a super interesting journey as well because I remember like when we were a small startup, we were just getting started, and we would have users and we would launch features and they would go out to our Streamlit community. And today, when we launch features, they go out to all of Snowflake. So it's awesome to see when we launch something, it really goes out to like thousands of Snowflake customers who are able to use it, and I'm super powered by the excitement that our users have as well.
Oh, yes. Let me tell you that we have people from all over the world right now, from Ontario, Canada, Kansas, Texas. Nick is glad to see me, and he thinks it's wonderful to meet you, Abhi. We have friends in the Netherlands, Southern California, Sweden, Edinburgh, Maryland, Dallas, New York, California, Seattle, UK, Stockholm, Serbia.
Wow.
Yes, we have a lot of people excited to discuss Streamlit in Snowflake. I know you have demos for us. You're going to show us some code.
Yeah, totally. I'm
Yes.
going to talk about Streamlit, the open source project, for a little bit. What is Streamlit? And then I want to do some demos of what does Streamlit look inside Snowflake.
Excellent. Oh, more people from India, Virginia, Santa Fe, Brazil. I'm going to Sao Paulo. I'll be there in 2 weeks for Data Cloud World Tour. Helsinki and Chile, Buchev. Buchev is where I studied. So, hi, Chile. I'm going to Chile too if you want to say hi when I'm there. And two things that are happening at the same time. On Reddit are Snowflake. There are Snowpark for Python AMI. Our engineering manager Srinath is answering questions there right now if you want to have questions about Snowpark. Also, because we're going to talk about Snowside, I did this super cool video about the latest improvements for Snowside that I would love people to go visit and tell me what they think about it. And with that said, let's talk about Streamlit in Snowflake. These are the docs. What should we know about the documentation?
Yeah, I think these docs tell our users how they can get started with using Streamlit inside Snowflake. They talk about how what are the prerequisites, what are some of the privileges required, and then we also have some nice guides for setting up the permissions, for creating an app using the UI in Snowside,
Mhm.
and also if you're you love using the command line, then you can also use our CLI tool to create the Streamlit app.
Cool. Yeah, and so CLIs are great. I see that it supports external packages. Uh, of course, there are billing considerations and any questions that people have right now about this, we can answer right now. So please, people, pay attention to the demos, look at the docs, and get your questions ready because Abby is here with us. Should we switch into demo mode?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Excellent.
All
So
right.
if you give me your screen, I'll replace everything with your screen.
Okay, let's get started.
Ta-da. BE, a faster way to build and share data apps. That's a great
Yeah,
start.
So
Tell
this
me
is
more.
the Streamlit website. It's streamlit.io. And before I started to talk about Streamlit inside Snowflake, just wanted to quickly touch upon what Streamlit is, and what are the capabilities of it. So Streamlit is open source Python library that users can use to create web applications really, really fast. And it's pure Python, so you don't need any front end experience to start creating apps. Um, in fact, like, to get started, pip install Streamlit, and then type in Streamlit hello. So that's how easy it is to use the open source library. And then as shown here, like it's all just like writing Python. So you write Python and then it renders as the app on your website. So that's
That's the amazing thing. Like 5 lines of Python code, and you have an interactive web app. Like that's how Streamlit is so big right now, especially on the ML AI communities.
Yep. And so our users can create these Streamlit apps, and they can currently deploy them on their own infrastructure. They can deploy them on community cloud. And if you're a Snowflake customer, you can now deploy them on Snowflake. And we
Uh-huh.
make it really, really easy to do this deployment. And that's what I'm going to share next. So
Excellent.
let me
So I
share.
think, yes, we're going to answer the question from Abhi Nav saying, hi, why Streamlit for Snowflake? This demo will be the perfect answer, I think.
Yeah. So of course, we tell our customers that they have the flexibility of deployment options. They can either choose to deploy on their own infrastructure, in which case a lot of the management of deployment and handling the details around the infrastructure have to be managed by the user. But if you choose to deploy on Snowflake, a lot of that heavy lifting is done on your behalf by Snowflake. And I'll show that in a minute, how easy it is to create a Streamlit app and start using it. And that's part of the value that we've built into Streamlit and Snowflake, which makes it a super simple one-click experience so that developers can focus on writing code, and all the other infrastructure is managed by Snowflake. So let me share another window, which includes the demo.
Perfect. Let's get the window. And
Cool.
people continue saying hi. I have it here. Excellent. We are
Cool.
inside
So we
your
see my
Snowflake
screen.
account.
So I'm inside a demo account. So there are a bunch of demo apps already created. But what I want to do is I want to create a new Streamlit app. So
Yeah, what I want to call the attention here too, if I can, is that
yeah,
you are in Snowsite right now, and
correct,
Snowsite has a new tab, Streamlit.
correct. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this is the new Streamlit tab. So click on the Streamlit tab, and we will click on the plus Streamlit app button. I'll choose a name for my app. It's auto-filled, so let's just use with that. And then let's choose a database and a schema to place this app, and then click on the create button. So as soon as we click on the create button, Snowflake starts to create the infrastructure for this app. And you'll notice that the user gets placed into this really nice side-by-side experience, where on the left-hand side is the code for the app, and on the right-hand side is the output of this app. So every new app is created with some boilerplate code to like help get started. And then the output for that is rendered. And once I'm in this experience, I can directly start to edit it. So the first thing that I want to do is maybe change the title. So I'll just change it to hello. And then I can click on the run button, and I will notice my app is getting updated live in real time. And then further, I can interact with the app, and the app changes. I can close this editor window if I just want to look at the app. I can close the preview window if I just want to focus on my code. And then further in this view, we also have this packages tab, which is useful for managing all the packages that we want to use in our Streamlit app. So this directly searches for packages in the Snowflake Anaconda channel. So let's say I wanted to use, scikit-learn, which is a popular machine learning library. So I can search for that, click on that, and it will get installed into this environment. So this comes back to the point I was making earlier about how easy it is to get started in Snowflake when you're building Streamlit apps. It's purely like a fully managed one-click experience. And Snowflake handles all the heavy lifting of creating the warehouse, creating the backend infrastructure for it. And I, as a developer, can just start to write code.
Yeah, and let's talk. So what I see here in the code is that if you write title, that's the title of the web app, right? Just write text. You want to get a slider, you just ask for a slider, and the slider is there, and you get the value that it has. You can create a data frame.
Yep.
And the connection to Snowflake is handled by session. You get the active session.
Correct. And I'll talk more about that as well. So let me share another window.
Excellent. Let's go there.
Let's go there. All right. Do you see my screen?
Yes. We are collecting really interesting questions, but let's continue with the demo, and we'll go back to the questions from Vikash, from Matthew, and Alexander.
Cool.
Perfect.
So I'm in this app right now. It's pretty empty. You'll notice I just have a Hello LinkedIn here.
Yes.
And I want to walk through like the process of just editing and some of the features that are part of Streamlit and Snowflake, right? So right here, let's look at the code. Let me just resize this window a little. So I have my title, Hello LinkedIn. Let me first of all add an emoji to this. Let's make it more fun. So hopefully I can spell correctly.
What's a balloon?
All right, so we have our balloon here. And the first thing I want to do, let me create some data so that we can play with this. So this is a simple function which creates a data frame using pandas. So we've imported pandas up here. It's creating a data frame with 3 columns. We're putting some random data in it. And then let's call this function. So we'll call this function to get the data, and then let's write this data. So we'll just use stwrite to see what this data looks like. Okay, so that's there. So that's our data. So I'm going to comment this out. The next thing I want to do is chart this data. So again, this is super simple in Streamlit. We have a component called line chart. And then when I say st.line chart, it just shows the data right away. So
beautiful random data. And the apples are winning.
And then let's do something a little more complex, right? So let's add another chart and put them in 2 columns. So I'm using the Streamlit layout option here. So A is 1 column, B is another column. And then we're going to add a line chart in the first column. And then in the second one, we're going to add a bar chart. So let me click on run again. So this shows as the line chart and the bar chart. If I resize this is responsive as well. So this gets rendered vertically. So okay, so far so good. So let me comment that out as well. Now let's put these charts behind tabs. So Streamlit also has a tabs component. So if I wanted to put these charts behind 2 tabs, I can use the st-tabs command, and I'll have a line chart and a bar chart. So that's just a bit of charting to show how easy things are in Streamlit. Now let's do something more interesting, which is let's render some data on a map. So I'm going to use the st-map component, which Streamlit ships with. And I have some latitude and longitude here, which maybe if Felipe, you want to guess what this location is?
It's east and south.
Let me make it
Are
easier.
we lat long or long lat? It depends.
It's that long, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But this is
Excellent.
the location of our New York office,
Excellent.
Snowflake office, and I've just plotted some random points around it. Um,
So, north and
just
west.
just wanted to show some capabilities of our mapping component as well. The last thing I wanted to show before I'll take some more questions
Mhm.
is how easy it is to query data from Snowflake, right?
Yes. Because we
So,
are inside the Snowflake, let's connect to Snowflake.
yep. So I've imported here this function called getActiveSession. And then here I am instantiating this session variable with the session object. So this returns a snowpark session to me. And what I can do using it is I can query a sample database that ships with Snowflake. So this database is called Snowflake Sample Data. And further, we're querying this table called TPCH. I click on Run, and it shows me all the tables that are part of this database. So that is how easy it is because we're already in Snowflake. Snowflake manages the configuration. It shows you, it includes like your credentials automatically, and all you have to do is then write your SQL query and then execute that SQL query. So we're taking this session object, executing SQL, and then writing that data.
Yeah. And
So
what's beautiful here is that you didn't need to authenticate. Your authentication is part of you being inside the Snow site. So it's
correct.
your Snowflake user, your Snowflake role that
Mhm.
decides what data you see. So it makes everything super secure.
Yep. And then I wanted to share another feature here as well, which is the
Uh-huh.
sharing feature. So
Cool.
my role is the product manager role. And I know, Felipe, that you are part of a role called geo user, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a role that you have. So sharing that with another role is as simple as clicking on share and then adding the name of the role here. So, for example, Felipe, you have geo user. That's your role that you use. So I can just share this with you, and I am done. And just like regular Snowflake, Streamlit follows role-based access control. So here, this shows that this is product manager. I am listed as the owner of the role, and then Felipe, this would be geo user, which is your user, and you can only view the app here. So what that means is that once I've shared this with you,
Mm-hmm.
you will not be able to see the code for it. You will only be able to see the app's output. So again, this is seamlessly managed by Snowflake. So that was a quick demo. Let me pause here and take some questions.
Yes, I want to try also how that sharing work, but let's take some questions. This is beautiful. So, Matthew wants to know what about Streamlit extensions and in Snowflake, Streamlit in Snowflake.
Yeah, great question. So we are currently working on adding those extensions as well. So those are called custom components. Currently, those have limited support, but like we expect that by early next year we will have support for custom components as well.
Excellent. That's a forward-looking statement, as our lawyers like calling them. But yes, we are working. We are going to get extensions. The team
Yeah.
is
And
working
then
on
if I go to our docs page, Felipe, let me share this
that.
other tab. We also call this out in our docs. So there is a
Excellent.
limitations and unsupported features currently in the public preview. So this covers like what are some of the limitations that we have. So some of the components we're working on adding these to Snowflake as well. And our engineering teams are actively working on making sure that we just go down this limitations list and like reduce this so that we are at parity with open source Streamlit.
Perfect. So this answers Pravin's question. Any limitations in capabilities, standalone versus Snowflake, they are documented, and we're working hard to make this go away. Excellent. Alexander was wondering about how you were bringing libraries from the Anaconda Snowflake channel. What about using a requirements.txt file to bring in the requirements?
So
How
that's
would you do
something
this?
also we want to support in the long term. Currently, just like rest of Snowflake, we work with the Conda package manager. So Conda is also used for UDFs, stored procedures. So we're adopting that as well inside Streamlit. And then longer term, we're doing some work with the Snowpark team to make sure that we can support additional package managers as well. So today, it's Conda. And then in the future, we hope to have support for additional package managers as well.
Yeah, you showed us a lot. You were working with the Snowflake UI. How much can you move to command line, or instead of doing it UI wise?
Yeah. So when doing through the command line, again, I'll go to our docs page, but we have an entire section dedicated to how we can create these apps using the command line as well. So that includes using our SQL CLI tool to create a Streamlit object. And then we can also add an environment.yaml file to add dependencies. And then additionally, we can users can push additional files to the stage that backs this app as well. So this is more for users who want a more of an advanced experience, where they want to have more control over like what are the files that are being added, what are the underlying primitives that are used in this app. So this command line experience is for those developers.
Perfect. I'm glad that we can move everything to code and treat it as such. Also, I'm super happy to see the Streamlit object in Snowflake. It's an object with permissions that you can share, that you can treat as any other object inside Snowflake. It's a single vision of how we do stuff. I love it. Christopher says, I love compliments. This is great. Thank you, Christopher. I agree with you. Another question from Vikash. How do we think about caching?
Yeah, this is a great question. So there's some caching built into Snowflake. So there's the query cache. So if you've already issued a query, then Snowflake will use the query cache to just return the result from the query cache. And then there's also caching that you can build inside of Streamlit. So for example, if you want to cache some kind of computation or a function, you can use stcache. Currently, there's a limitation that stcache only works within a session, but we're working to also make it so that it will extend beyond sessions as well. So the answer is caching can be used today, and in the future, it will get even better.
Oh, that's a great answer. Mark has an administrative question. He's super happy to find out these lives. He wants to know how to know when when we are going to go live. Usually now we're doing it every Tuesday around this time, but we announce it on the YouTube Snowflake or the YouTube Snowflake developers page, and we announce it on LinkedIn on the Snowflake page as we did this one. And hopefully you can join for all of our future sessions, Mark and everyone else that just discovered us. Mark also wants to know about Toast. Do you have any thoughts about Toast?
Yeah, that's a great question. So some of these features are being developed on the open source library. And so as these newer features come to the open source library, we eventually want them to come to Snowflake as well. So currently the open source library that is out there is 1.26. And currently the library that runs in Snowflake is 1.22. I think what we want to get to in the near future is more parity in the library versions that run on Snowflake and open source. I think we're working to upgrade to 1.26 soon in Snowflake as well. And then these newer components that are there in the open source library will get supported as well.
Yes. By the way, what is Toast?
I think it's a component that users want to see. So a toast is
Nice.
a small notification that you see at the top.
Cool. Oh, I see. And this is the question that everyone will keep asking until the answer is now. Daniel Granados Campos, when is this coming to ashore?
Yeah, great question, Daniel. We are actively working on Azure support right now.
Mhm.
I think our stated objective is to have it by next quarter, so next financial quarter. So we hope to kick off a PR for it. A PR is private preview next quarter, and then towards the end of next quarter, we hope to have Azure in public preview as well. So we're working towards it as we speak.
Excellent. So forward-looking statements, it's all fingers crossed when we talk about the future.
Yeah.
And of course, when you were showing us Snowside and you landed on the Streamlit app, we also saw the apps tab. And Vipin has a great question. How is this integrated with the apps framework? That's
Yeah,
also
great
happening.
question, Vipin. So you can use Streamlit inside the apps framework as well, in case you want to add a front-end component to your native app. So let's say you want to build a native app and expose it to another customer on the Snowflake marketplace. You have the ability to add a Streamlit app there as well. I think that there is a full-fledged native apps documentation which talks about how to do this. So I would just say, like, go to our docs page and search for native apps, and you should see native apps and Streamlit integration as well.
Yeah, tell me if I'm right. When you do a Streamlit in Snowflake app, then you can share with all the other roles inside your account.
Correct. Yes.
If you move it to the app framework, then you can share with the world through the marketplace.
That is
Abhi.
absolutely correct. Yeah. So currently, Streamlit and Snowflake is for internal sharing, and then for external sharing, we recommend that our users use the native apps framework.
Excellent question. And of course, how does the role you share with also need access to the underlying Snowflake data objects?
Great question. So the role needs to have usage on the underlying objects. So that ensures that those objects are also authorized for the end user. And so we call this out in our sharing as well. So currently this has to be granted manually, but in the future we will make all this automated.
It's beautiful. And all the policies like row level security, column level security, data masking will work with my role, with my connection when you share that app with me.
Yep. So we follow RBAC. So since Streamlit is a Snowflake object, we follow all the rules of RBAC. And yes. Felipe, I know we're almost getting close to time. I also wanted to share, give a sneak peek of one feature which is in private preview. And so I'm going to share another tab.
Excellent.
Let's see. Okay. And this one is called user demo. So we also recently created this, started a private preview for this feature called experimental user. So this now works in Snowflake. So for example, what I'm doing here is I'm saying st-write, st experimental user. And because I'm also the developer here, this shows my email, my name, and login name. So developers can then further use this to understand who is using their apps. And this is also a feature that we support on the open source side. So this is coming soon. And then what I also wanted to share here is a quick sneak peek of another feature that we're launching in PR, which is an animation. This is called the, this was pretty fast. Let me see it again. So when I click on run, we, again, very fast. I should probably do.
Live coding, I love it.
Time.sleep. one. Okay, now I should be able to see it. So every time I click here, we will also have this feature to indicate that the app is busy doing some work. So this was also in local open source Streamlit, but also coming soon to Streamlit and Snowflake. So back to you, Felipe.
I love this. People have so many cool questions because this is so cool. Abhi, I would love to have you back. And now that we had the demo, we showed people what we have. Next time, we might be able to do a full 30 minutes AMA. People will bring their questions. This is so, so beautiful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Felipe. This is great. Love to see all the enthusiasm that I see in the comments and questions. So would love to be back again to do another demo.
Yeah, any last message, something you want people to remember, something you want people to do?
I would say, go to snowflake.com/streamlit to get started.
Get started, share your apps with us, go to our forums, go to Reddit or Snowflake. We are on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, not too much these days, but on LinkedIn you can find us. We have 2 Snowflake YouTube channels. We have been streaming this show to the main Snowflake channel. We might start streaming to the developers channel, so don't get lost between these changes. Thank you so much. And I think it's time for the bird to dance us off. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all your questions. See you soon.